All right, what's up, everybody? Big Jim here at WBJR Outsider Radio on Loud 365 at 1610 a.m. And it's time for another big interview. And today we have a very special guest, legendary Wizard of Doom, Bobby Liebling from Pentagram. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, how you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great since I'm talking to you.
Cool.
So it's a big year. It's the 50th anniversary of Pentagram, and I hear you might have some new tunes. Is that correct?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I myself personally have written about a half a dozen new songs, and my bass player Greg and guitar player Matt have new tunes also. Hopefully, after this COVID shit gets over with, get back to rehearsing and learning the stuff as a band, a unit, and hopefully be able to record a new album before too long, within the year, I hope.
Yeah, that's kind of put a damper on things. I mean, has it affected you in any other ways as well, besides gigging and practice and things like that?
Well, you don't go out.
Right. Same.
So I don't know really how it's affected me other than
Yeah.
I'm sitting on my ass, and that's the problem. There's no work and there's no touring, and it gets a little tediously boring after a while.
I can imagine. So about this new album, what are we going to expect on this new one?
I mean, the style is going to stay heavy and stay the same. There might be a couple of laid-back, lighter tunes with a little bit of acoustic stuff in them. But, I mean, the main thing is going to be staying Pentagram. I mean, that's a true to the cause thing. It's a mandatory.
Nice.
So it'll be...
It's going to be Pentagram. So.
Yes, and it'll be the first album with Matt Goldsboro on guitar. So
nice.
That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, as far as the individual tunes go, since we haven't rehearsed them yet, to put little nuances on the arrangements and stuff like that. So it's not really, cohesively together at all. So
idea stage right now.
Yeah, planning.
I want to give my personal experience discovering Pentagram. Like a lot of us discovered you guys when Relapse released First Days Here, the vintage collection, compilation of your 70s recordings and stuff like that. What did you record that on? I've heard a little bit about the sessions. What happened between the time that you released that on recording until it was re-released in 2001?
Well, I mean, the First Days Here sessions from the first edition of that were all from demo tapes that we made throughout the 70s at various different studios. And then on the second one, as well as studio stuff, it also had about an album at least worth of just rehearsals in the early 70s in the warehouse we used to practice in, and we had to take those in and kind of find the sound a little bit on them. They're still sort of a lo-fi recording for the most part, but right. Everything is just demo. I mean, we never had anything that was officially released in the 70s.
So it's like on a reel-to-reel with some microphones?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, everything was recorded. The live warehouse stuff that was recorded was just done on a 7-inch reel-to-reel Roberts tape recorder with 2 plastic microphones sitting on a table.
Wow.
At our rehearsals. And then the first collection of stuff, though, is, all completely studio things, actual studio recordings. They're mostly...
yeah, you can hear a difference in those.
None of this stuff was ever officially really refined to its final stage. In the early part of talking about First Days Here, the first collection of it, I didn't want anything to be released on a record, because I'm like a stickler for, fine tooth, it smoothly down. And although the recordings are clear and they're studio recordings, they were never intended to be released.
Right. They were going to be the first versions that you would hear, like when going to another company. Yeah,
it's demos, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, and going back before Pentagram, how did you get into music in the first place, singing and stuff like that? And did you have any bands before that?
Before Pentagram, in my teenage years, before Pentagram was started, I was in a band for quite a few years called the Shades of Darkness. At the beginning of my whole playing time in the mid 60s, and we played at dances and some bars, schools, yeah, that kind of thing, and like bands in the '60s often did,
Yeah. And do you still have any recordings of them, or?
The only recording of that was, let's see, it was a 2-track mono thing. It's on YouTube, even
Really?
of
Nice.
covers. They're not very good, but at all.
I still got to check it out, though.
My voice hadn't even changed. But Demon was another thing that was it was actually a product of Randy Palmer and his side thing.
Yeah.
It's very primitive too. We used to get together during the Pentagram, like 73, 74 or so. We would get together with Randy individually. He had written these songs on the side. Randy was a total Sabbath freak.
You can tell.
Oh yeah, it's very obvious. And we used to kind of poke fun about the name because the original name was called the Giant Behemoth.
Really? Giant Behemoth. I like that. That would have been cool.
And then he decided, no, I'm just going to call it Demon. And I said, well, why don't you call it Demon?
Right.
And that, was what was used as his name for his side thing. It was also recorded at the same warehouse as Pentagram's demo stuff. And
so.
Yeah, it was the same.
Yeah, it sounds like reel-to-reel recording. Yeah, so Randy Palmer, I mean, he was incredible, and I remember I bought that CD, the reissue of that from Aquarius Records, I believe it was. They used to sell that stuff, and I would find all my cool, weird, hard to find gems, hidden gems. And I was not disappointed with that. I love that album. I think my favorite one is Serpent Venom is my favorite one off there.
We used to go like once every month to 3 months down to the warehouse, and Randy would have, like 1 to 3 songs and, of his. And he asked the drummer of Pentagram, Jeff O'Keefe.
Oh, yeah.
And myself. And thank you. And a friend named Mike Matthews, who was a high school buddy, to come down and record his tunes. We do that, as we switched around on some of the instrumentation. And some of there's songs where I play guitar.
Really?
Yeah, and even Mike Matthews, the bass player. And then there were, just various times we say, hey, let me try playing this part, or whatever. So it was just a fun session time. We'd go for an afternoon, hopefully get a song or two finished and do it. Yeah.
You're just putting stuff together like a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, throughout your career, you've had a long career. You've been playing music since the 60s. Like, what are some of your most memorable gigs that you've ever done?
Oh, wow. I guess I like the huge festivals for the most part because the intriguing excitement about, wow, we're going to get to play in front of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like Hellfest is a highlight in 2012, playing with all these people that are super duper big bands. Ozzy, was playing that day, and, I had Zach and Slash guesting on guitar. And
like rabid fans everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's
awesome.
just a sea of people everywhere you can, as far as you can look, that's all you see is people. And we're going on like between, let's see, Status Quo and, someone else, I forget who before or after, but, big bands, bands that to me were like a dream come true to get to play with these groups. I got to, see Michael Schenker and stuff, and his band, and took a picture with him. And I'm a fanboy as far as that goes. I love
imagine.
that kind of.
Just meeting those people in general, but getting to play with them is even better.
Yeah, it was really neat. Yeah, I got to, we saw, what do you call it? The Sonics. Original Sonic.
Have Love Will Travel.
Yes, that's my favorite song by them ever.
Yeah. Strychnine and
oh yes,
yeah, I play them on my station. I play a lot of that the old '50s stuff. I love doo-wop too. All kinds of music.
Yeah, and I mean Jerry Rosler was still alive and singing and playing keyboard, and I was standing right behind him, and I was like in tears, virtually like a little kid. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm right here, at the edge.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And you're there on his side of the stage, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And then also we've gotten to do 2 different live Rock Palace broadcasts.
Nice.
And that was like, wow, what an honor. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
believe we got to do this stuff. And then Swede Fest, where there's like 100,000 or something. I don't know how many people.
And they know the words to your songs.
Yeah.
That's the best
Yeah,
part.
they're actually jumping up and down. I mean, you're a mile away from the fans, that's the only unfortunate part. But
Right.
it's wow. I mean, when you
Intense.
yeah, million, zillion people going crazy. It's fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I've been seeing a few hints online from you on your Instagram about maybe a new band or a project or something you're starting. Can you?
Okay, yeah. Okay, without going overboard, because the label doesn't want me to,
Right.
because of the ad campaign coming. But yeah, let's see, myself and punk legendary Sonny Vincent, and from the Testers, in Max's CBGB days, and Jimmy Recca from the Stooges.
Oh my God.
In the Funhouse era, down all the way to Raw Power era.
Great albums.
And then two guys from a band from Portugal called Dawn Rider, guitar player Hugo Conham and Juan Ventura. They play in Dawn Rider, which is a hard rock band from Portugal, and
I gotta check
the
them
words. Yeah, the words to their stuff is in English, and then they also play in a really hell of a cool punk band that's like traditional Ramonesy Saints vibrators type punk stuff called Clockwork Boys.
Really?
And yeah, but all the words are in Portuguese though.
Oh, even better. I love that kind of stuff.
It's pretty trippy. They got some very like almost on the verge of X-rated videos.
Really?
Right? Yeah, they're on YouTube. They'd be, for mature, I guess, if they were.
You got to sign in.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's one video where they got all the ladies of the night hanging all over them, and they're snorting drugs and drinking bottles of liquor, and
just pure excess.
Yeah, the overload thing, so I've got to watch out for, as I personally know.
Right. Well, good luck on that too.
Yeah, but Clockwork Boys are great. But the five of us together, we recorded an album last February, this 2020, right before the pandemic.
Yeah, great timing.
Yeah, just by the nick of time. I mean, we went to Portugal, Sonny and Jimmy and I, and met those two guys over there, and we recorded a whole 12-song album. And it's the first side project I've gotten to do ever, a whole album of, with a put together group.
Group.
Thank you. The band is called The Limit.
The Limit.
And
remember
and the
that,
album,
folks, The Limit.
There you go. The band is called The Limit, and the album is called Caveman Logic.
Logic.
Yeah, and it will be out around February with worldwide distribution, and let's see, it'll be out on LP, CD, and digital.
Oh, LP, that's what I gotta get.
Album collectors, yeah. Yeah, I got a considerable, good old collection.
I think you got more than I do. But,
Probably about 1,000 albums left, but
yeah.
Lots of autograph stuff, stuff that's personalized, though it's not worth money to anybody else, I mean, but it was so cool to get in the days, 70s, early 70s bands, late 60s. And anyway, we did an album in Portugal, and it'll be out soon. I can't say the label,
all right,
or the distributor.
I won't press on that.
And yeah, because they have told me don't start publicizing heavily. But I'm real proud of that album. It's fantastic. It's like classic, traditional, early punk fused with heavy hard rock with a guest lead players, three guys I'm not going to say.
Oh.
Yeah, some really very well-known people, and the lead playing on the album. It's weird because it's like having heavy punk with Michael Schenker on lead guitar, though.
Oh my God! Well,
yeah,
you're going to be getting a lot of airplay over here. We're going to be playing you a lot over here.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, man, you got me grinning ear to ear right now because that sounds exciting. I can't wait till you can go public with that.
Really. Yeah. I mean, I've always been, I'm kind of a glam rock baby in the early New York Dolls days since. The Dolls and the Saints, the Silverhead, just the early punk and roll sort of stuff. All the Johnny Thunder solo stuff, Heartbreakers. It's a real f you attitude songs on the album, but with a really heavy nowadays quality recording, and our engineer was great over there. And
punchy and crystal clear.
Oh yeah. I think the people will probably dig it. I'm hoping.
Sound good, turned up loud.
Yeah, it's kind of like where my true heart. I always wanted to do a Dead Boys, Stooges, MC5 cross type of thing. So it's really got attitude.
Like Sonic's Rendezvous Band or something like that.
Exactly. There you go. That's a good one. City slang.
Yeah, yep. I play that one a lot.
Have you heard the album? Heard the version by Dodge, Maine?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's spelled like the car Dodge, but the other word is MAIN, but it's slang. It's like Dodge, Maine.
Dodge, Maine. I got a Dodge,
Maine. And it's Wayne Kramer.
Oh my God.
And Dennis Tech, and like all good, Scott Morgan is on that too.
Group, another super group.
Yeah, it's underground. It was one of Wayne Kramer's albums, and Dodge, Maine, you should check out if you've never heard it. It's great stuff.
I will. Speaking of Wayne Kramer and the guys from the MC5, did you ever hear that one G.G. Allen song where he tricked them into playing together? It was called "Give Me Some Head."
No, I'm not familiar with Gigi's stuff very much. I know Merle because, I can imagine most of his stuff was.
But this was actually good rock and roll. It's a song called "Give Me Some Head." He told the drummer, what was his name, Dennis
Thompson.
Yeah, he told him that Wayne Kramer was in the studio and wanted to jam with him, and then told Wayne Kramer that Dennis was in the studio. Tricked him into showing up, and then he got him drunk, and they recorded that song. And it's a classic like Detroit rock and roll, so definitely check that one out.
Is it a Murder Junkies recording officially, or
1979? So it had a whole different sound. He was more coherent. He could sing back then. He had a more. He wasn't like
hadn't gone over the edge, huh?
Right? Yeah, he was still kind of. He actually, I think, played drums a lot back then too.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, yeah. A good dear buddy of mine, really super close buddy of mine that was in the documentary about me, his name is J.B. Beverly.
Oh, yeah, I know. With the Wayward Drifters, I'm actually friends with. I used to live in Nashville for a while, so I used to see him around.
Yeah, J.B. is a dear buddy of mine. I mean, I love the guy to death. He sang for the Murder Junkies after Gigi died.
Wow, he never told me that. I've listened to his albums, though, and, we saw him, and he came here to Roanoke, Virginia, a few years ago, and I saw him outside. I happened to be pulling in right at the same time he was coming out, and he was coming out to get something, getting ready for the gig and everything, and got to see him for a little bit, and he actually remembered me, so that was pretty cool.
He's a really fantastic dude, JB. I love the guy to death, man.
Very talented, too, yeah.
Yeah, now he's doing some movie and TV appearances.
Really?
Yes, he's just starting out. Mm-hmm.
So I had a few more questions for you. So there's different phases of your career, and one that I like to also watch videos of is your 80s phase and everything during the 80s.
The Death Row era?
Yeah, I like to watch all those videos from them. And what were some of the bands that you played gigs with during the 80s and hung out with?
I don't. Well, we played a lot of gigs, us and Obsessed together.
Obsessed, yes.
Yeah, in their early days, back when Vance Bacchus was still the singer and he was still alive. My little buddy who was the bass player of Pentagram before that. Yeah, because Obsessed started out like a much more total punk tilted band.
Very punk at first.
Oh yeah, I mean the songs like "Too Drunk to Fuck" and those kind of that era, great stuff, and they were very punk and glammed out makeup, that kind of thing. Dead Boys-ish too. We played Obsessed a lot, and a band called also on the bill. Asylum were another band. They became unorthodox when they put out records. A dear friend of mine also, many 40 years at least, Dale Flood's a guitar player of that. And another band that played with us all the time was a band that only had one album that's not the known version band, but they were called Hellion. The guitar player and leader and predominant writer was Norman Lawson. and he was in Pentagram on and off 3 different times for a very short time period. With him and the drummer that became Pentagram's drummer, Stuart Rose, on Their Reckoning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we used to play like those 4 bands were interspersed lots and lots of gigs together. In the 70s, Pentagram opened for Judas Priest in the late 70s. And also 3 days after the first Ramones album came out, we opened for the Ramones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they had one album 3 days old, and they were using practice amps. We played at a place in Washington that held 75 people. People hadn't really gotten wind of what they were about yet.
Yeah.
And we played 3 shows with the Ramones in a row.
God.
It was fun.
Unforgettable.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was cool. It was, the original 4 guys, and I still have my first album signed by all 4 of them.
Oh my God. I'd love to see that. Do you have a picture of that on your Instagram?
No.
I'd love to see
wait a minute.
that.
I might on Instagram. I have a lot of autographed records shown on some of my highlights. It might be in those.
Yeah, I'm going to just go back and just kind of go through them all. I'm not going to stalk
If
them.
not, I'm going to find it down. I'm going to put it up there.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I got kind of a funny question for you, but it's something we've always noticed, right before a lead in Pentagram, you'd either say look out or watch out. And which one is your favorite to say? Because, some smoke and lead was about to happen whenever you say that.
More than both of those, I just like to, all right.
Yeah, all right. Or you said one of them, cry on, I think.
Yeah, cry on. The single Hurricane goes,
Hurricane.
Now watch this one.
Yeah. That one gets a lot of airplay, too. And $20 Spin is probably one of my favorite ones, actually, out of that.
That's cool.
Out of those demos there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. With the resurgence of popularity for Pentagram, you've gotten to play all over the world. What were some of your favorite gigs or festivals that you played? You've already talked about one of them. Are there any other ones that really stand out?
I like Day of Doom. It's called, or Doom over Barcelona in Spain. That was really wild. Yeah, I like Day of Doom and Doom over Barcelona. And Hammer of Doom was great.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge one.
Muscle Rock. Sweden. They're all just exciting. Oh, I know one that I really was excited for was playing at the place called The Garage in London.
The Garage in London?
Yeah. It's on the north side of London, and it was a place when it opened up. The first 2 bands, from what I've been told, were the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
Oh my God!
And it was, stepping in there and stepping on the stage brought me to tears. Like, I can't believe this is really happening. It's not a big place, but
you just feel the spirit there.
You do, totally, absolutely, yes, exactly. Yeah, and I love playing in Norway and in Austria. Those are such beautiful, untouched, untapped resource places. It's like winter wonderland. When you get near the mountains, you see even in the summertime, there's still snow-peaked mountains and cable cars, and
you expect Santa to come around the corner.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a Christmas card.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's probably the best part about playing gigs. It's the traveling, Yeah,
it's pretty damn exciting. I mean, I wish I was totally sober on all the trips now so I could remember a lot more about them. That's all. And I hope next year we'll get to do it, and I'll be very alert.
Oh, yeah, just bring a camera, wear a GoPro on your head.
There you go.
Well, what other hobbies do you have besides singing and kicking ass?
Let's see. I sing almost zero when I'm off stage, and nowadays I listen to music very little, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a TV junkie all the way.
I feel you there.
And I am since I was like 4 or 5 years old, a total baseball fanatic. And
I've been seeing you on Instagram.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, don't bother me tonight, folks.
Right. I'm in the zone.
And I'll show the baseball and say, it's blah, 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 blah time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Nationals fan, and I've been following, I know as much probably about baseball in the 60s, 70s, and now as I do about rock music.
Wow. Do you collect baseball cards or anything like that? Or
I used to. I don't anymore. No, I don't anymore. I did, when I was much, much younger, but
yeah,
I really wanted to play baseball. And when I found out, I was too little, and by high school I stopped playing, but I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player for damn sure, or a rock star.
Can you imagine the future we'd have if Bobby Liebling was an all-star baseball player? I mean, instead of a rock star.
Hey, you know what? They seem to live good, clean lives. have a stable, it seems like this. I really don't know their private life. Yeah, but they seem to have a very stable marriage, 2 or 3 kids, a white picket fence, a house, a dog, and that kind of thing. And they got lots of fucking money early.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about, we were talking about, some of the stuff you put on Instagram, like your baseball, fan stuff. You've been quite active on social media lately. Where can people find and follow you?
On Facebook, just Bobby Liebling. Yeah, very easy. And on Instagram, it's bobby.liebling.81.
Right, and I'm one of your followers here.
Thank you, man. Well, cool. Yeah, it's fun. I like going on Instagram. I'll have a barrage of stuff, and then lately I keep the notifications off because
they'll drive you crazy.
Jesus, you're not lying, man. It was like, fuck this. I got to get this pink, pink, pink all night off here.
I like it when you use the filters, by the way. Those are pretty funny. like the makeup filter on the, it was a few days ago. But.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where I was supposedly my female look-alike or something. Right, yeah, that was fun to do.
Yeah, it's fun to follow your page because you're always, it's either doing your fan stuff or or music or just goofing
off of Mr. Banana stuff.
Yeah, Mr. Banana. Mm-hmm. Well, Bobby, are there any current bands right now that you're into or recommend?
Oh, wow. I don't know virtually any of them. No, I know that sounds terrible coming from me, but all the music I listen to is more classic rocks, the older stuff. Lately I've been on an ultra Thin Lizzy kick.
Oh, that's always good. I like Johnny DeFox meets Jimmy the Weed. That's like my favorite one.
I think Thin Lizzy have absolutely no bad albums.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not quite as visible in the early, but I still love that because I love Eric Bell as the guitar player when they were just 3-man.
And they were just kind of stony back then.
Yeah, and I just saw last week for the first time the movie called The Outlaw, Phil Lynott.
Oh, I never seen that. I never heard of that.
It's an hour and a half, and it's on YouTube. And I was, I was in tears because I cried the day I found out he died, and it's the only hard rock death that upset me and still does to this day that much. The guy was just so fucking unique.
Soulful.
So heartfelt and deep, and he was so sincere. My God, what a trooper! The thing called The Outlaw starts at his birth and has his mom all throughout the movie too. Philomena.
Yeah, I always say it wrong.
And it's got. It takes him all the way from birth to the very, very end and after even. And it's got all the former members in it through the years. And even has back in the days when he was with the original Skid Row, which is the one with Sebastian Bach.
Completely different band.
Yeah, it was Gary Moore, and Phil was the singer originally of Skid Row.
Didn't play bass back then, right?
Exactly.
And then he had some kind of problem with his throat or something and had to get his tonsils removed.
That was tonsils. His mom talks about it in the movie. The movie's fantastic. It's done very well, and it's got lots of live, unseen performance stuff.
I got to see that. Speaking of deaths, Eddie Van Halen, he died. What'd you think when you first heard that first album?
Well, you know what? I'm not into Van Halen and never, ever have been, but it's still, I was shocked to hear he's only 65, and the rest of his soul, he did a lot of innovative stuff in his era, and, the guy was a phenomenal musician. I always give the props, where they're due. I mean, I wasn't into much 80s, the hairband era.
Yeah, when it all kind of got kind of fluffy.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not into Poison, Skid Row, Motley Crue, all those bands. But what the hell? I understand it all. Sure.
Oh, yeah, and
been there, done that.
History and all that stuff, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Well, also, you're a singer. Do you have any advice for aspiring singers or just artists in general, like guitar players or whatever? Like if they're trying to do what you did and follow in your footsteps, what would you tell them?
Well, you know what, man, I'm very a raw, from the guts, soulful type of artist, and I never had and don't condone voice lessons and. Yeah. This is just me, though. I understand, of course, what all vocal training is about. I'm very knowledgeable about all that kind of stuff, but I'm not into going and doing the formal classes with your voice. It just, a lot of people, to me, end up too perfect and operatic minded.
Yeah, some bands have done that. I won't mention their names, but bands I used to be really into, but the singer would get vocal lessons, and it just didn't have the same soul, and
it doesn't have the guts to it. Yeah, the real
nuts.
ground level blues. Exactly.
Yeah.
I like blues, man. That's where I came from, rooted wise.
Oh yeah, you can tell. I mean, that's blues riffs you're doing with your vocals and everything. It's like blues guitar, like a lead.
That's what I'm into.
Like on the
Yes, I do. Yeah. That's probably one of the only ones that I would still do a formal recording on next album.
Yes, I do. Right.
Yeah, because that's never been a studio recording of it. I mean, the first days too is the rehearsal.
I can play that song on guitar. When I first heard it, I had to learn it on guitar, so it's like one of my favorites.
Good. Cool.
Well, I know I'm holding up your time here. Is there anything else, Bobby, that you'd like to fill us in on before I let you go?
I'm just I'm thankful that so many people have been so supportive all over, not just social media, but all over the world in every sense. And that finally we got to get out there. I hope that everybody will still dig on it.
We will.
When the COVID shit's over with, and like next year, supposedly we already have 4 or 5 tours planned. A couple of Europe, one to Scandinavia, our first to South America, and hopefully rescheduling Japan.
Awesome.
And I want to try to get to Australia and New Zealand. So everybody stick with it. Keep listening. We'll keep bringing it. Yeah, I mean, it's hopefully rock music will get back, with God's help, to being able to be live and on the scene again. It's going to be one of the last things to come back.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll find a way to adapt. People got to have that experience again.
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
Well, folks, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Bobby Liebling. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time, man. And we're going to be rocking your music over here at the station as soon as that album by The Limit drops. Whenever it does, whoever's going to release it, we're going to get a copy here, and we're going to play you just like we play a bunch of pentagram here.
Hey, thank you so very much for having me, Big Jim.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm talking to Ozzy Osbourne here. This is just the same.
He's a rock star. I'm not.
I believe you are.
There's a single coming out at the end of October. The Studio 2019, Be Forewarned, which is the first recording with Matt on it. It's been up for the whole year for download only, but it's coming out just on that Record Collector Day thing.
Yeah.
The one at the end of October, it's coming out. It'll just be limited to that. It's 1,000 copies.
Oh my God.
It's a colored vinyl, gatefold, glossy sleeve, open up, vinyl.
Bang.
Yeah, and it's only a one-sided single with a hand etching on the other side. Of me with my tongue between my fingers.
Nice.
It's only 1,000 copies and no repress,
Yeah, so that's it. That's it. Once you miss out, you miss out.
You're correct. Well, I'm going to save the few copies I get, damn it, for a change.
Yeah.
One last thing. I'm sorry I keep forgetting.
Oh, no, you're good.
In about probably be 2 months from now, there's going to be 1,000 copies only of CD version only with a new cover and re-release of Show 'Em How, which is the least known of our albums, probably. Yeah, and it'll have a brand new booklet, full color booklet with a lot of pages and all that kind of stuff. And it's a complete independent record. A buddy of mine, and dear friend of mine in Kansas, has financed the whole thing, and we gave him the files, from the one we did. And it's just the song Be Forewarned Studio 2019 version, like the updated. It's the original arrangement, but got it so acoustic guitars added in, and Matt is on it on guitar, and I'm proud of it. It's good. Thank you so much, Big Jim, and it's good talking with you, and talk again soon.
It's great talking to you too, and yeah, anytime you want to talk or if you got anything you need me to do, man, I'm there for you, buddy.
All right, thank you so much, man.
All right,
take care of yourself. Be well. All right, take care.
Too.